Hey everyone, welcome to GVN Interviews. My name is Mike Vaughn. I am very excited because I am talking about Christmas with the Campbells with the director, Claire. Thank you so much for joining me. I really loved the movie. I thought it was really fantastic. I heard so in preparing for this, I was watching some other interviews you did, and you would say that like this is kind of more homage than parody of like some of these Hallmark Christmas movies.
Yeah, I mean, it's when Vince Vaughn went into making this film, because he produced it, it came from a place of him and his wife love watching Hallmark movies. And he would like make jokes while they're watching Hallmark movies, and it kind of came from that. So they had a woman who's written a lot of Hallmark scripts, write the original script. And then they basically put a bunch of R-rated jokes on top of it. But we really, I worked for Hallmark a bunch. I love them. I love the genre of this Christmas movie. And so I really liked that Christmas with the Campbells is just their own take on it. It's not trying to really poke fun at it, but it's taking some of those tropes and some of those cliches and putting some raunchy comedy on it.
And what's funny is so I went into it completely blind. I was watching with my husband, and so it was like we were like expecting a very Hallmark Christmas movie, and then the needle ripped. And then we were like, all right, we were in. We were like, we love this.
Oh, good. I'm glad. Yeah, I think, I don't think people really know what to expect when they first sit down to watch this movie, but hopefully people start to get that you can laugh at all this craziness that's going on.
Oh yeah, and the direction was great, but you have such a stellar cast as well. I'm really curious with like veterans like Julia Duffy and George Wendt. Was it fun getting them to be a little more risque, shall we say, with some of their dialogue? And
oh my gosh, I mean, sweet little Julia Duffy having to say some of those lines, it was hysterical. But she can handle it. I mean, she's as sharp as they come, so witty. I mean, when you're working with actors of that caliber, it's really just about like finding the truth in the joke. And so making sure that it always like feels grounded, and which they do anyways, they don't want to say a joke just for the sake of it being a joke. They want to know like, why is my character feeling this way? And what's our relationship with each other? But yeah, I mean, having to like, having to give some of those lines to Julia Duffy was hysterical because a lot on set too, we did a lot of improvising as well. And so sometimes, the writers and Vince would just throw out jokes to her, but she handled it like a pro. And I mean, those like dirty words coming out of that sweet woman's mouth, it's just hysterical.
Was there a lot of bloopers? Was there some takes that were a little bit harder to get without breaking up?
Absolutely. I would say, Alex Moffat probably has a whole movie cut that like is just leftover footage of him riffing on random stuff. What was so fun for me about directing this is we really wanted the actors to play, and we really got to like, do a lot of improvising and trying different things out in the scene. And we were also really trying to figure out what the tone was, because it's kind of a weird, it was like, when is it too far? When did we take the jokes too far? When were we too soft on jokes? And so a lot of times we have, most every scene that you see, we have like a version of it that might even be a little dirtier or might even be, a little more like Hallmark-like. And so we have a lot of extra footage of that. And, Alex Moffat just in general will just throw in like a fart or you've seen the movie, so but yeah, I mean, it was, and Justin Long too. I mean, like, and Brittany, they were so good at just creating comedic moments. And there's a lot of fun stuff, but it was interesting to be in the edit room and to see like, oh, that joke went one too far, let's pull it back, so, because on the day it can be very funny, and then you get into the edit room and you're like, it doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, it's interesting because you kind of answered what my follow-up to that was, which was like I would think that the tone would be very tricky to get just right, like that kind of balance.
Yeah, and that's really where like our editor Simon was really helpful. And we kind of went into the edit room with a lot of footage, and we knew we had good footage, and we knew we had like a solid script and great performances, but really figuring out when the comedy needed to come in was a intense creative process. And I learned a lot going through that with my editor and with Vince, and trying different things out, and figuring out, because there isn't really like a reference film that's this sort of tone, like we were using like the outline of a Hallmark movie, but we were throwing, a lot of R-rated comedy into it. So it took a while to figure out exactly where the tone was, but I think we landed on something surprising, which I think is a good thing.
Yeah.
When you're competing with a lot of Christmas movies.
And yeah, definitely. And like I said, like I wasn't really expecting that needle rip. So I think that was even more fun when you're kind of lured in with this really sweet, almost saccharine sort of holiday movie. And then it's like, it's a little naughty at times though. So
totally. And, but we also wanted it to like, we still wanted to have a love story. And we still wanted to feel like this family loved each other and have the magic of Christmas be a part of it, so we didn't want it to go too far where you didn't want to cheer for these characters.
Yeah. And there is a lot of warmth. I think that again, the cast is stellar. I think everybody has a great chemistry. Everybody does bring that sort of heart that you need to, again, like you said, not go too off the rails, but still punch it up a little bit. So I think that there's like a really good sweet spot in there. So speaking of cast, Justin Long is in this. He's great. Was he always the first choice to play this character?
Yeah. Vince and him have worked together before, from like Dodgeball. They've known each other back in the day. And I think when I was brought into the project, Justin was already on it. So I know that they had been wanting to work together again, even though they weren't both in front of the camera, but, they have a great friendship and stuff. So yeah, so Justin was always his pick, and, and, he definitely played someone who's not anything like who he is. He's like, he's like this country boy, and, so yeah, but he's a complete delight to work with, and we had so much fun with him.
Nice. Now, what did Justin think of his accent that he had to do? I'm sure he was probably a pretty great sport about it. I really liked that he really leaned into it.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. It took a few days to figure out, like, what is this accent that we're doing? Where does this man even come from? What is his deal? But him and Vince worked a lot on trying to figure out what that was, and once he like got into the groove of it, he was so good at it. But like, it just makes me laugh because someone who the character is like, he throws out these crazy phrases that sometimes I don't even think makes sense. Like I remember like turning to Vince and being like, I don't even think that is an actual analogy that he's saying. And Vince was like, yeah, that's what's so funny. But he says these things like as if they're these normal phrases that they're not, and but yeah, his accent was took a minute to figure out. But then once he got into it, and I just love how he goes, Polo, when he talks to the dog. That's what I now say to my dog, Polo.
That's great. Now, logistically, what was the most challenging aspects of this movie?
Well, it happened, for me, it was really quick. I was brought onto the project, and we started shooting 3 weeks later. So, the time frame was really truncated, and we only shot for 17 days. It was a really quick shoot. And it was, in the middle of January in Utah. It was freezing cold. I was worried we were going to kill Julia Duffy during and we had her outside one night and it was like -10 degrees. And honestly, it was more that. It was more like the cold, shooting. We were on location. We were up in the mountains. your cameras start to get too cold that they turn off. There's things like that happen. We had a snowstorm. Logistically, yeah, it was just, shooting a movie that quick it comes with a lot of its own challenges. But like when you have a cast as good as that, and I had a beautiful crew, it was really fun. So all of that difficulty just kind of adds to like the fun of the project in the end, because you kind of feel like you went into battle together and you have something to show for it at the end.
Yeah, well, like the end result is a really fun movie. I'm kind of curious. I know I've heard you say that you're a big fan of Christmas movies. You've made a bunch. You actually have one out another one out this year, right? The A Very Corgi Christmas.
Yeah, a Royal Corgi Christmas. It's a little different than Christmas with the Campbells, but nonetheless, there's dogs and Christmas.
Which I haven't seen yet, but I am making that a plan to watch that. But I'm kind of curious with like this being sort of like in a way traditional Christmas movie, and in a way not. Would you ever like make something that was maybe like a horror Christmas movie, or would that be something like, would you ever like be interested in melding those two genres together?
Yeah, has that been done before? I don't know, but that sounds fun. I would love to do that. Yeah. What I do love doing Christmas movies, a lot of times, because just snow and twinkling lights make any frame look pretty. So it's always nice. But I also love that it's the time of year people want to watch things together, with your friends, with your family, and you have that feeling of togetherness, which I love. I love when movies bring people together, and Christmas time always just feels like it's amplified more, amplified more, you know what I mean? But I would love to do a horror. What do you think we should do? Should it be like, there's like a girl has to solve a murder and she falls in love with.
That would be good. Yeah, like maybe sort of like a Who's Done It, maybe like a Knives Out kind of situation.
Yeah, that could be fun.
All right, call me. We'll write it.
Okay, well, we'll get on the books for next year.
It looks like we're almost out of time, but I just wanted to ask: is there any other projects that you have coming out that you can talk about at this point?
No, I mean, you mentioned a Royal Corgi Christmas, which is on the Hallmark Channel, and then this one that's coming out this week. But that's it for now. So two Christmas movies
until we make our
horror film. A very bloody Christmas. So
there you go.
We'll think of something better.
Oh, absolutely. Well, thank you so much. Gosh, this was a lot of fun. I really appreciate it. And everybody watching, Christmas with the Campbells, so great. And I will also link where you can see A Very Corgi Christmas. It's on Hallmark. Has that aired yet? I'm sorry.
Yes, it has aired, but you can now watch Hallmark on Peacock. So
okay.
So you can find it there. And it's exactly what the movie is exactly what the title is, A Royal Corgi Christmas. So there you go.
I mean, I love it. I love dogs. I saw you had a little guy.
Yeah, she's running around.
I have a sleeping pug out there. So
I love pugs. We could put a pug in our horror Christmas movie.
There you go.
Because all Christmas movies have to have a dog somewhere.
Yeah. As long as he survives, I'm cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He can help solve the crime.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. That's the angle. Well, again, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And again, so you can check out your Very Corgi Christmas movie on you said Peacock, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, great. Again, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, thanks. Okay, thanks a lot. Thank you both. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for watching the movie.
Yeah, absolutely.